Welcome to The Truth Dark Psychology. Today we're venturing inside the mind of a leader who has inspired millions and polarized a nation, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Known simply as Lula, his story is one of resilience, charisma, and controversy. But what dark psychological forces have shaped his rise, and what secrets linger behind his iconic smile? Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and share your perspective in the comments. This journey through Lula's mind will challenge everything you thought you knew. Let's uncover the truth. Lula's story began in the poverty-stricken hinterlands of Brazil, a world defined by scarcity, hunger, and relentless adversity. This environment forged in him a survivor's mentality, where every small victory was hard-fought and every betrayal left a scar. Early deprivation created a mind that views the world through the lens of scarcity and competition. This trauma did not only build resilience, it also seeded suspicion. In dark psychology, those shaped by hardship learn to read intentions and anticipate betrayal. Lula's rise from factory floor to union leader and later president demanded not just grit, but the psychological agility to navigate environments laced with hidden dangers and shifting alliances. As a survivor, Lula developed a keen sense of social manipulation. He learned when to play the victim and when to become the hero, skills honed through years of struggling against systems designed to keep him down. Every public gesture and every political move carries the subtle imprint of someone who knows what it means to have everything to lose. His identity became a weapon, a living narrative of hope and struggle. By aligning his personal story with that of the common Brazilian, Lula cultivated trust and adoration. But behind the empathy lies a profound understanding of the psychological power of shared pain. He knows how to harness trauma to foster unity and, sometimes, to silence dissent. Survival leaves marks, and in Lula these scars have become both armor and instrument. His psychology is forever shaped by the tension between vulnerability and invincibility, always aware that the line between triumph and downfall can disappear in an instant. Few leaders in modern history have wielded charisma as deftly as Lula da Silva. His ability to inspire is rooted in dark psychology, using authenticity as a tool of persuasion, transforming vulnerability into strength. When he speaks, crowds don't just listen. They feel seen, heard, and represented. Charisma, however, is not mere charm. For Lula, it's a calculated force. He adapts his tone, body language, and rhetoric to each audience, switching from warmth to righteous anger in seconds. This emotional intelligence allows him to manipulate atmospheres and moods, bending them to his will. His speeches are often stories, crafted with psychological precision to tap into collective hopes and fears. By making people believe they're part of a greater cause, he draws loyalty that borders on devotion. This mass persuasion is classic dark psychology, creating an us so strong that doubters become outsiders. Yet Lula's charisma also serves to distract from his flaws. He projects the image of a simple man, even as he maneuvers with the sophistication of a seasoned operator. He plays with perception, often appearing underestimated, then using that underestimation to outwit rivals when they least expect it. True, charisma is dangerous because it blurs the line between inspiration and manipulation. Lula's followers see a savior, while critics fear a demagogue. Both are responding to the same psychological forces, carefully orchestrated by a mind that knows exactly how much power a story can hold. Lula's genius lies in his mastery over narrative. He understands that in politics, perception is reality. Controlling the story means controlling the masses. He has always been adept at framing himself as either the people's champion or the political martyr, depending on what the moment demands. Manipulation, for Lula, is about subtlety. He rarely commands. Instead, he invites others to act in his interest, making them feel like it's their idea. This psychological trick is deeply rooted in dark psychology, achieving control without ever appearing controlling. The real power is in suggestion, not order. In times of crisis, Lula amplifies the idea of an external enemy. Whether economic elites, foreign interests, or political opponents. This redirection of blame is classic psychological projection, diverting attention from personal or party shortcomings. The public, caught up in the drama, often fails to question the narrative's accuracy. He surrounds himself with loyalists, rewarding obedience and sidelining dissenters. But even those closest to him are kept at arm's length. Trust is currency, and betrayal is never forgiven. This creates a climate of controlled loyalty, where everyone knows their place and the cost of stepping out of line. Perhaps most intriguingly, Lula's manipulation is never purely self-serving. He knows that by shaping the narrative, he also shapes Brazil's national identity. His power is rooted not just in what he says, but in how he convinces others to repeat and believe it. Lula's empathy is legendary. His connection to the poor and working class is often cited as the reason for his enduring popularity. But dark psychology asks, is this empathy always genuine, or is it a strategic mask for deeper ambitions? At his best, Lula seems to radiate understanding and care, weeping openly for the struggles of ordinary Brazilians. These moments build powerful emotional bridges, reinforcing his image as the everyman leader. But there's a psychological calculation behind every tear, knowing when to be vulnerable and when to be unyielding. His empathy also functions as a shield, deflecting criticism and disarming opponents. By embodying the nation's pain, he becomes almost untouchable. Criticizing him can feel like criticizing the people themselves. This psychological protection is invaluable for a leader under constant scrutiny. There are moments, however, when empathy is weaponized. Lula uses compassion as a way to build debts, offering help only to expect loyalty in return. This transactional kindness creates a web of obligation, making it difficult for beneficiaries to oppose him in the future. True or strategic, Lula's empathy is always effective. It is a psychological tool that wins hearts, manipulates perceptions, and cements power. In politics, few qualities are more potent or more potentially dangerous. If you're intrigued by these psychological insights into Lula's mind, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which leader you want us to analyze next. Your engagement shapes this channel. Don't miss your chance to influence our next deep dive. Lula's journey is marked by repeated cycles of hope and betrayal. Early political victories were often met with fierce opposition, and personal relationships have been shadowed by disappointment and loss. In dark psychology, such trauma breeds a siege mentality, where every ally is a potential traitor and every setback is a lesson in caution. Years of union battles, political exile, and imprisonment sharpened Lula's instincts for self-preservation. Trust is a precious commodity given only sparingly. His inner circle is constantly tested for loyalty, and paranoia is never far from the surface. This vigilance shapes his leadership style. He prepares for betrayal before it arrives, always maintaining a contingency plan. This preemptive approach gives him an edge over rivals, but it also deepens his isolation. The fortress mentality may protect, but it also traps. Betrayal has another psychological effect. It hardens resolve. For Lula, every attack is proof that he is on the right path. Opposition becomes a source of validation. This mindset is both empowering and blinding, making it harder to recognize genuine criticism or adapt to changing realities. Ultimately, trauma and betrayal are woven into the fabric of Lula's psychology. They fuel both his determination and his defensiveness, creating a leader who is always on guard, always strategizing, and never fully at ease. Lula's appeal is undeniable. To millions, he is a symbol of hope and change, a leader who overcame adversity to champion the marginalized. Yet, the very techniques that inspire can also manipulate. This is the paradox of dark psychology and leadership. He creates powerful narratives of collective struggle and redemption, inviting people to see themselves in his journey. This identification generates intense loyalty, blurring the lines between inspiration and dependence. The leader becomes not just a politician, but a father figure, healer, and redeemer. Inspiration is used to unify, but also to control. By positioning himself as the indispensable voice of the people, Lula discourages dissent, framing criticism as an attack on progress itself. This psychological trick keeps rivals at bay and solidifies his role as the chosen leader. Public ceremonies, rallies, and personal anecdotes are tools in this emotional arsenal. Each is designed to trigger pride, hope, or even guilt, whatever emotion serves the goal of deeper allegiance. Lula's genius lies in his ability to orchestrate these moments, knowing exactly when to comfort and when to confront. The cost of this duality is significant. Followers may struggle to distinguish genuine leadership from manipulation, and critics risk alienation by challenging the narrative. In the end, Lula's legacy will be measured not just by policies, but by the lasting psychological impact on his people. With extraordinary influence comes an extraordinary burden. Lula's psychological genius, his mastery of narrative, empathy, and manipulation, has built a political dynasty, but also exacted a personal toll. Isolation, suspicion, and the constant strain of public life weigh heavily on even the strongest minds. The pressures of leadership magnify existing scars. Every crisis is a test, every betrayal a wound. Over time, the relentless scrutiny and responsibility can harden or embitter, leading to moments of self-doubt and regret. The very tools that brought success can become chains, trapping the leader in a cycle of expectations and disappointments. Lula's legacy is complex and deeply psychological. He restored hope to millions, but also entrenched divisions. His story is one of resilience, but also of relentless struggle. For Brazil, the effects of his leadership, both positive and negative, will echo for generations. Ultimately, the darkness and brilliance of Lula da Silva's mind remind us that leadership is never simple. It is a dance between light and shadow, inspiration and manipulation, hope and fear. Understanding this complexity is key to understanding the man and the nation he helped to shape. Thank you for exploring the psychological depths of Lula da Silva with us. If you found these insights revealing, subscribe to The Truth, Dark Psychology. Leave your thoughts and suggestions below, and hit the bell so you never miss our next investigation. The conversation continues in the comments. Your voice matters. See you there.